Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Franchise Tag Overtime. Today, I'm joined by coaching legend and Houston Roughnecks head coach, Wade Phillips. How are you doing, Wade?
I'm doing great. Yeah, doing real well.
Thank you very much for coming on to speak to me today. I do appreciate your time because, as I say, you've had a bit of unusual weather there over the last few days. Has training recommenced now?
Well, the weather's going to warm up a little bit. It's cold for Texas for sure. So we got iced over, and they're not ready for it here in Texas. But
No.
but we're starting back, so we'll be fine.
I say it's not something us Brits associate with the state of Texas. It's far from it. Where you've previously been up in Buffalo, for example, we associate it with that up there, not in the state of Texas at all. So, how have you been keeping? What have you been doing during this time when there has been no training available to be taking place?
Well, we still meet with the players in the hotel, and we can still implement things as far as mental work, not physical, but they can learn the plays, those kind of things. We keep going over those things with them. And, pro football is terminology. There's a lot of terminology involved, and so they have to learn that terminology, whether you're on the field or not.
And how had training been going before the snowstorm came in? How had it been progressing?
Yeah, it's been going real well. We had 14 practices before we had the storm come in. So we've accomplished a lot. We've got another week or so or 2 weeks before we start the season. So I think we'll have plenty of time to get our team ready.
And obviously, I've spoken to one of your players so far in Cole McDonald, really likable guy. So him and the players that you've selected, how did you feel that draft process went? Because obviously it was interesting as a draft, with the fact that, in effect, in the UK, we were mainly watching names appearing on the screen. But how did you find the draft yourself?
Well, we got a lot of players that we thought were going to be good players, and some of them have turned out to be so. So we're glad of that. It's always a hit and miss process. I mean, the NFL is the same, the XFL is the same. It's you think a guy's a real good player and he may not be, and then a guy you didn't think as much of is becomes a star. So we'll see. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick, so anything can happen really.
And I say it's a lot of the time, sometimes it's down to obviously not, because anyone who plays professionally has got talent. They wouldn't be doing it unless they had talent. Sometimes about that mindset. How do you think, with your experience, you can help players develop the right mindset to go on to become a star?
Well, coaching is teaching. So, we feel like we can teach things that can help them be better. And it's an individual process. I mean, each individual has certain things that they need to do better. The coach has to identify that and be able to help him. And so it's an ongoing process. But if a guy has talent, we have to try to utilize his talent.
And to be fair, the roster seems like you have drafted really well from what I saw. Some really talented guys in there. So how are the players developing those relationships right now? Because, as I say, for a lot of this, it's very unusual to have, in effect, a roster that one or two guys may have played together before elsewhere, but majority of them, it's all new, working together. How is that process going?
Yes, it is different. Like you say, in the NFL, we drafted 12 players and signed a few free agents, but we already had a team. This is a new team. None of us have been together. So it's the whole process is not only, playing football, but learning to work together because, like you say, they hadn't been together. So that's part of the process, and that's what we try to help them do.
And obviously yourself is someone who's notorious for having really good, tough defenses from your time in coaching. Do you think that that's going to be the mindset of Houston to be a really hard side to score against.
Oh yeah, I don't have any doubt about that. We've had a lot of success through the years, and we're implementing the same defense. So, the Phillips 3-4 defense, it's called.
Yeah.
So it's really named after my dad and a little bit after me, but we feel like we're going to be really good on defense. But I think we're going to have a wide open, really exciting offense too. And our special teams, don't leave them out. We've got several returners that I think are going to be maybe big play guys for us.
And that's the thing about special teams, as you say, never overlook them, because sometimes they can't half-turn a game. When you just have that, you need that spark, and suddenly you get it from a really good kick return, or literally the defense, one of your defenders on the special teams makes a play that basically means you get the ball back instantly. So you're definitely right to not overlook them. So what I'd like to do is go back a little bit to how the XFL came about for yourself. How did this opportunity for you to come in as the head coach of the Houston Roughnecks appear?
Well, the people that were doing the hiring, of course, knew me, and I'm sure they felt, since I was from Houston. I went to University of Houston. I coached for the Houston Oilers. I coached for the Houston Texans. I've been a head coach 3 times in the NFL, three more times the interim head coach. So they thought I'd be a good fit for Houston. And certainly when they asked me to coach the Houston team, I jumped right in, because, that's home for me too. So I think it was just a good fit overall.
And obviously Houston's not the only Texas team we have in the XFL. You've got Arlington, and you've also got the team over in San Antonio. How much of a rivalry do you think there could be between those 3 teams? Because Texas is a very proud footballing state, and football is almost like a second religion there. So how important do you think the rivalries could be, and how intense those rivalries could become?
Well, they are. I mean, we already know they're going in. Houston and Dallas have been rivals for a long time in the NFL in the same state. Now we've added San Antonio. So it's Houston, San Antonio, and Arlington. It's bragging rights. And we're in the same division, so we play each other twice, home and home. So, it determines certainly who wins the division, basically, and who wins the Texas championship.
Yeah, that's what it's almost like. There's the South Division with the 3 of you, and then obviously you've got the team in Orlando. Like,
we don't count them.
Well,
they're in East Texas.
I was going to say the state of Florida as well. Like, as I say, Texas is obviously quite a proud footballing state, and it's interesting to see the teams making up that Southern Division. And I'm curious how those rivalries will start. Will Orlando be the one that's almost like, as you say, no, you don't count. Our main rivals are these guys over in Arlington or San Antonio.
Well, all the games are important. So it's about winning your division first. Then getting in the playoffs and win a championship. So to do that, we've got to beat those people. We've got to beat Arlington. We've got to beat San Antonio, but we also have to beat Orlando.
Yeah, obviously when the name was announced, because initially obviously it was just they announced the cities they were going to, and the names were kept very hush hush for a while. How important do you think it was having that nod to the XFL 2.0 with the Roughnecks team for the state and the city of Houston?
Yeah, well, I mean, the last time they did it, they were the Roughnecks. They started out really well. I think everybody
they did.
Everybody kind of caught on to it, but then the COVID came and shut down the whole world. So, but I think people are excited to see the Roughnecks back. And, they want a winning franchise there. I mean, Texans have been having a tough time. So I think, maybe we can give a little life to the city in football.
Well, as you say, Houston as well, particularly obviously the NFL side's had a few lax years when it comes to obviously performance on the field. So there's obviously a real opportunity for the Houston Roughnecks to, if you are playing that, I say that really good winning football, to attract a really big fan base, because the city of Houston, it's a hard-working city and it's a passionate footballing city. So a good side in Houston has massive potential to be really popular with the fans there. But it's not.
Agree. Yeah, very much so.
But the interesting thing about the XFL, which is really unusual for a brand new league, is the fact it's going to be international from the very first game. Like, I'm sitting in the UK, I'll be getting to watch the very first games when they go live. Worldwide, there's not many leagues that can say, game one, we're playing in front of the world. How important do you think that is for the XFL to get that worldwide fan bases in as quick as possible?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, we love the game. Of course, Houston and Texas are, like you say, football crazy. But that's because it's a fun game. It's a fun game to watch. I think we're going to make it even more fun with some of the rules that we have that the NFL does not have. So that's going to be a key thing, I think, is people are going to enjoy watching it wherever you are.
And no, I definitely think the one rule that jumped out to me straight away was that 4 and 15 in the fourth quarter. I think that could really be interesting to see how aggressive some coaches like yourself will be when it comes to that. Do we go for it or not? I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic. Yes, is there any rules that jumped out to yourself as, oh, that's an interesting rule?
Well, the kickoff, which they had last time, the kickoff return is now in play. In the NFL, only 37% of the kickoffs are returned. XFL last time, 97% of the kickoffs returned. So, when you watch an NFL game and it starts where you say, well, they're going to kick it out of the end zone, which they do most of the time. Yeah. This gives the kickoff return a return to excitement. And I think it's an exciting play, with a lot of room and places to go and chances for big plays. So just having it 97% of the time, you have to, their return says something for the league and the rules.
No, definitely agree. And I say the other one that I thought was quite interesting as well was the 2 forward passes as long as you don't get past the line of scrimmage. I thought that again was an interesting looking rule, because what I found interesting when I watched XFL 2.0 was some of the plays that were designed to implement that. Have you been working on anything particular in that space?
Well, I
was asking you to tell me the exact.
I can't give all the secrets, but yeah, I mean, we're going to utilize the rules certainly, and that's one that's you have to get used to. The defenses have to get used to, because we're not used to that in any phase. So the NFL or college or high school. So I think that'll be maybe a really exciting and dynamic play for us.
No, definitely agree on that one. I think that some of the interesting to see some of the play designs, because it was interesting when I watched XL 2.0 that I'd never seen so many 2 quarterback sets where teams had 2 quarterbacks out there because they had the 2 forward passes. They were utilizing both, so that was quite an interesting dynamic. So another big milestone was when they revealed the uniforms. One thing I think that we can all agree is that Under Armour and the XFL have knocked that out of the park when it comes to the quality and the actual just sheer look of them. How much of an interesting step was that for yourself to finally see what the team will be wearing?
Yeah, I didn't know, like anyone, I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I knew it was going to be innovative because Under Armour was doing it and the XFL was doing it. So something new, something exciting. A lot of color involved, and different colors and bright colors, and ours is red, white, and blue really. So along with the Texas Star and the Houston All Derrick. So they did a great job with it, and I think Under Armour and the XFL will get a lot of excitement from seeing the new uniforms and how they're utilized.
One more question before we go, because I like to always ask whenever I get someone on about particularly the international fan base, the NFL has tried for years to convert fans to one team or another. They've tried with the Jacksonville Jaguars for many years. So the difference with the XFL is all of our loyalties worldwide, British fans, European, Australian, you name it, around the world, the loyalties are currently all up for grabs. So why should international fans support your side, the Houston Roughnecks?
Well, we're going to win first. Everybody wants a winner. So
important.
We're going to win, and we're going to score a lot of points and not give up very many. So, no, I think they'll see a really good football team that plays really hard, and an exciting team. We are going to run those double passes. We are going to run reverse passes and 2 quarterbacks in the game. And we want to make it exciting, but we're going to play. We're going to get a lot of turnovers on defense. It's going to be an exciting game to watch with our team playing, because they're going to play well and have a lot of fun doing it.
100% agree. It's always interesting to hear why people should be, and as I say, it's just an interesting thing, I think, for fans to be able to say worldwide from the first game. But any international fans, also anyone watching this in the Houston area, remember, tickets are on sale now. They are extremely reasonable priced. If you go to xfl.com/tickets, you will find tickets to suit pretty much most price points. Season tickets are still on sale as well. So make sure you get down there and check out Coach Phillips' side and cheer them on for the upcoming season. Thank you very much for your time today, Coach Phillips. It's been an absolute honour to speak to yourself. I would love to get you back on, as you're currently winning every game and on your way to the championship game. Been an absolute honour.
Well, thank you, Gareth. You did a great job. I appreciate the questions you asked.
No, thank you very much for your time today. And thank you, everyone who's watching at home. And we'll be back soon with another very special guest. Thank you.